Nah, it's too loud. Hey guys, it's me, Butterfly Spirit 314. So I just turned the light on because it's like super dark in here if I don't have the light on. So I think it's because it's kind of cloudy outside or whatever. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about day 2 of my introduction to heels class. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into it. But before I do, some of you may be wondering, why am I taking an introduction to heels class? When I talk about heels, what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about, regular heels that women wear. I'm talking about basically learning how to move in pole dance heels or stilettos. Okay, so those heels that you see women dancing in the club in when they're like on the pole, yeah, so those kind of heels. So those are the kind of heels that I'm learning to basically dance in. And this now includes me doing floor work in the heels as well. So they're not just like your regular, clack clack heels that are like, this small or this small. The heels that I have, or I believe are like, I believe there's 7-inch heels or what I have. And that's what I've been learning to move around in. Now, prior, I did wear my heels. I think back, I wore my heels the last time I went to the introduction to heels class for my first time. But prior to that, it was months ago that I actually put on the heels. So the thing about actually wearing my pole dance stilettos or heels, like actually having a class in it, is because it actually teaches me how to move in them. Because moving in the pole dance heels or stilettos is way different than doing things on the floor. So when I do things in pole dance, typically I wear socks. And people say, well, why do you wear socks? Because it teaches me how to learn to pivot on the tops of my feet. Okay. So that's what it allows me to do. Okay. So with socks, heels is a whole nother thing. And here's why. The pole dance heels themselves are a whole different ballgame because pole dance heels are heavy. Okay. They're heavy. So it's like having weights on your feet. Okay. And so when it comes to dancing in pole dance heels, they're heavy on the feet. So trying to do certain moves like that I would normally do when I'm wearing socks around the pole versus like trying to do it in the pole dance heels is more difficult because there's weight on not only my feet, but also my ankles, which makes the moves a bit more difficult for me to do. This is why I'm in an introduction to heels class, because this helps me to learn how to basically do pole dance moves in the 7-inch stilettos. Okay. And it's going to help me look more fluid and sexier while doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about what my expectation of the class was today, or not today, but on Friday, because I skipped my chair dance class because I really wanted to just do the introduction to heels class by itself. Because when I did the chair dance class and the introduction to heels class, what happened to me was it was a lot on my body. I mean, I was able to do it, but after chair dance, like that takes energy. And when I actually went to do like the introduction to heels class after that, I was already sore, amazingly sore. So I said, well, hey, I've been going to chair dance classes a lot. And so I'm like, hey, let me go ahead and just this time try doing the introduction to heels class. And the great thing was it gave me a chance to kind of slow down and things and be able to just attend that one class and stuff. Of course, I'm going to go back to chair dance. Of course, my plan is to do that next Friday. and things. But I wanted to take a little break from it, which is fine. So my expectation of my introduction to heels class, because I've already taken one before, is that my expectation is that we were going to be basically up in our heels, walking around the pole, doing pole dance moves and doing variations of those moves. That's what I thought was going to be happening. The reality is, with this particular heels class, and this was different than last time, because this time in this particular introduction to heels class, we were on the floor. So we were doing floor work. Okay. So we were doing things on the floor, and I was totally caught off guard. And I was like, oh man, we're not going to be on the we're not going to be up and doing stuff around the pole. Like, I really wanted to do that, you know? But yeah, we were doing floor work moves. And I understand why, because when it comes to pole dancing, just doing stuff on the pole is fine. But there are some pole dance moves where a pole dancer is going to end up on the floor. And if a pole dancer ends up on the floor, well, to keep it sexy, well, what are they going to do? You know, and how are they going to get back from the floor out to the pole? You know, they might want to do some, moves on the floor and then get back up to the pole and then continue their routine and stuff. So I see the benefit of doing floor work, and it just adds another flavor to a pole dance routine. So, and it does. So, some new moves that I learned in this particular Intro to Heels class, day 2, is I learned hip raises. So I learned to do hip raises basically while holding the back of my stilettos. So we moved up and down, side to side, in circles. And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, Butterfly Spirit 314. I recently posted a short of myself. It's like a minute and 31 seconds, where I believe in that particular video, I show myself doing hip raises. So you can actually see me doing that. And from doing the hip raises and stuff, then as I kind of lower my body down, I like clack my heels. So if you guys want to see that, you can definitely check out that short that I have of myself doing that, because I actually have that posted on my channel. All right, so we did the hip raises while holding our stilettos up and down, side to side, and in circles. So this is how we're moving our body: up and down, moving our body side to side while holding the backs of stilettos, moving our bodies in circles while we're holding the back of our stilettos and stuff, kind of waving our body around. Yeah, so that was one of the moves I learned in the variations. And then another new move I learned is I learned how to do fluid body rolls on the floor. So this literally involves me rolling on the floor in heels in a more fluid and more sexy way. My teacher said that we want to make it like we're like rolling, like we have ink on our chest, and we're going to roll and get it on the floor and then kind of roll away. So that's kind of, like what we were doing. So that was kind of interesting. And then another thing I learned what's called the vagina monsters, which I had never done that before. One of my classmates, she really loves doing vagina monsters. And so I learned how to do vagina monsters. So when I was learning to do vagina monsters, what happened was that I was thinking vagina monsters are about moving my legs and from side to side. That's what I thought, because that's what it looked like. But my teacher was like, no, that's not what you do. You have to use your oblique muscles and hips in order to move side to side. So that's what you do. It's kind of like this, but the hips are doing that, and it makes the legs look like that. And so I did do that. And that is also featured in the YouTube short that's in a minute and 31 seconds. So I'm doing vagina monsters towards the end of like the little routine I was doing. So yeah, I was doing vagina monsters. So that was a new thing, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I kind of like them. The only thing about vagina monsters is that you have to use your obliques like on either side in order to be able to do the vagina monsters like moves. So that's the difference, you know. And it was super tiring after I got done doing that. So yeah, my both sides of my obliques were like really tired. So another move I learned how to do was the shoulder roll. So with the shoulder roll, I learned how to do a T-stand shoulder roll. And in my cheer dance class, I really struggled to do shoulder rolls. And that's one of the reasons like why um like I may in the chair dance routine, you guys may see me just kind of sit on the chair or something like that because I don't know how to do a shoulder roll, not that type of shoulder roll. So in my introduction to heels class, when we were doing floor work, I learned how to do what's called a T-stand shoulder roll. And it was hard at first. I didn't understand how to do it. And I was struggling to do it. And so what happened is that my teacher, like I really admire this in my teacher. She really stuck with me until I learned how to do a T-stand shoulder roll. And actually, I have a YouTube short of myself doing a shoulder roll on my YouTube channel. So you guys can actually see me doing it. But I learned how to do it. She said, you're a little wobbly, a little awkward, but you did it. And I'm like, yay, I learned how to do it. The shoulder roll that I do in my cheer dance classes is a bit different. So I'm going to be learning how to do that in the next heels class that I attend. But those are pretty much all the moves I learned to do. The hip raises, the fluid body rolls on the floor, the vagina monsters, and then the shoulder T-stand shoulder roll. So those are 4 things that I learned in my introduction to heels class. What I really liked about the class is I liked that I was finally able to do a shoulder roll. So I really love that I was able to learn to do it. And I'm so glad my teacher stuck with me to help me be able to do it because she wanted me to get it. And I loved how I had the individual attention to learn to do it. When I tried doing shoulder rolls in chair dancing, I didn't master it and then learn how to do it. But now I know how to do a variation of a shoulder roll. And I'm going to learn how to do the move that I do in chair dance for a shoulder roll. I'm going to learn how to do that the next time I'm in the heels class. So that's going to be super fun. And I can't wait to do that. I also like that in this class, there was 5 girls in the class with me. Normally there's like maybe 2 other girls other than me. But there was 5 girls in the class, but we all had this space to spread out and do our floor work, which was super fun and stilettos. My teacher's like, okay, girls, you have to be careful because you got some sharp objects. You guys are walking around like it's your, you're in, so you don't want to actually hit your buddy next to you, And so I was like, okay, but it was fun for us to be able to do the floor work and heels and stuff. It was like super fun. I do plan to post my other 2 videos of the things I learned in the heels class. So I do plan to do that. I have 2 on my channel right now, but I'm going to post those other 2 today and stuff so you guys can kind of see me and what I learned. I love that my teacher stuck with me, like I said, until I was able to do the T-stand shoulder roll, which was fun. Why's my phone going off? Oh, it's going off because I'm going to be going to get my hair done soon because I got to get this hair done. So things I did not like was I didn't like that we weren't up next to the pole, like doing pole moves. But I kind of get that I don't want every class to kind of be the same when it comes to heels. I kind of want there to be variation. So that's the thing. And then one thing I had wanted to do was I wanted to practice walking around the pole. So my pole walk is not up on game. Like I don't have the best pole walk. Like when I'm in my pole dance class that I take, My walk, I'm gonna just be honest, it sucks. It's not the kind of sexy walk that other girls have. And so I wanted to work on that, but that's okay because today, when I'm in my pole dance class today, I'm going to be practicing learning how to improve my pole dance walk because when I do my pole dance walk, I tend to be far away from the pole, but I have to practice being close to the pole. And it wasn't until I actually was watching this girl that's like a pole teacher on YouTube, and I was watching her do this routine that I was like, oh, wait a minute. My feet are supposed to be next to the base of the pole, like at the bottom of the pole. I'm supposed to be close to it. I'm not supposed to be far away from it. I'm like, damn. So it kind of clicked for me. And so I was like, oh, well, I need to get closer to the pole and stuff. So I'm going to be working on my pole walk so I can have a better pole walk, especially when I lose my train of thought when I'm doing pole dancing and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I do next type of thing. So I'm going to be working on that. And then not in my heels class, but in the pole dance class I'm going to be taking today. And then I'll be learning trying out a couple of new moves in the class as well myself and stuff after I do the warm up or whatever. So I'll be doing that. But by and large, I really love the introduction to heels class. I really love it a lot. I think I got something in my eyes. I really love the introduction to heels class because it's really helping me to learn how to move in the stilettos because it's not easy. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, when I'm wearing those stilettos that I'm walking around in, they're 7 inches high and they are heavy on the feet and the ankles. And so that's added weight on myself that I don't normally have in pole dance class. That's just added to me. And it can be kind of awkward in like doing pole dance moves because of the weight of the heels. And so that's what I'm learning how to do is to learn how to move more fluid. And I realized that I have to learn how to move more fluid in pole as well, instead of looking like more thinking too much and kind of being like not as fluid with the music. And that's what I have to learn to do is like learn how to move with the music more. And there are some girls that are really great at doing pole dance and they're like so fluid and everything like that. And that's one of the things I want to do is be more fluid and slow down instead of going so fast. So that's really what I want to learn to do is to do that because I want to be a better pole dancer and get better with it. And I know the fluidity is definitely coming through because I've been doing yoga. I did like this 8-day yoga sort of like challenge or whatever. So I got finished with that. That was about doing like sensual feminine energy yoga. And so I did all 8 days of that. So I got through that yesterday. I'm proud of that. I'm going to go back through that series because that helps me to be able to do the sexy leg waves and stuff like that in heels and stuff, as well as doing it like in chair dance. So I like that. And the reason why is because the person I'm learning from, like when I do yoga on YouTube, her name is Addison Brianna. And she does a lot of floor play. A lot of people know who she is. This girl is an ace at floor play. All right. So I didn't know she was a pole dancer, but when I'm doing yoga, she's teaching me how to do those like sexy, fluid moves during yoga. So that's definitely going to bring my A game with pole dance up. That's why when I did my recent chair dance video, when I did it last time and I was moving my legs in that kind of wavy way, and I was like rubbing my leg. That's why I was able to do that because of the yoga. So the yoga practice is kind of coming through a little bit because it's helping with my fluidity. Also, I'm getting more flexible too. So I'll be able to do more fluid stuff when it comes to the pole and everything. So I really think I'm learning and getting better with things. And I really like it. And I love the journey I'm going down with pole, specifically because I'm not just having myself do one type of dance. Yes, I'm doing pole dance, but I'm doing pole dance. I'm doing chair dance as well. I'm, learning how to move in heels. I'm also doing twerking as well. So I'm doing that. What a lot of people don't know about twerking, there's a lot. You really have to, when you do twerking, I'm actually learning how to twerk from this girl that's on YouTube. I don't know what her YouTube channel name is, but she's a Jamaican girl. And that girl can twerk like nobody's business. Like she can, her twerking is on a whole nother level. So I saw this video of her, and there were these ladies who were watching her, and I guess they were going to try to follow along with her. And those ladies got lost because of how she was twerking. They did not expect her to do that. So that girl was, like twerking on a whole nother level. I know how to do a more basic twerk. So I know how to do the first one, which I'm happy with. So, and I took this tip that she has. So she said for girls, she says in her video, she said for girls with small booties, the small derrieres, she's like, for this first move, you really need to know how to feel your booty moving. And so she had this tip. She's like, you have to have on loose clothing, but she's like, you know what? Strike that. The girls with small booties, she said, she used the term, I think it's in Jamaican, Ale Tolduf, which is basically get naked. Okay. So her tip is for girls with small booties to get naked so they can, when they're twerking, to feel their booty moving. And she's not wrong. She ain't wrong because it's different because people can twerk, but being in like tight clothes, the booty can't really move. But when it comes to like being in lightweight or nothing, it's easy to feel the booty moving better. And so for me, well, that's kind of helped a little bit for me to learn how to twerk. So, but I got the first one. I am going to move on to the second move for twerking. So I'm going to learn how to do that. But, and actually, it's great for me to learn how to twerk, and I'll tell you why. The reason it's great for me to learn how to twerk is because when I'm in chair dance, sometimes we do twerk, but like I realized when I was in chair dance, I'm like, man, like I suck at this whole twerking thing. So how am I gonna get better? And I went on YouTube and there was a suggestion for a video and I started doing it. And at least I'm able to do a basic twerk. So, but with twerking too, it takes a lot of energy in your legs. Like your legs will get tired if you do twerking, okay? And it will because it's putting you're moving those leg muscles in order to twerk because you're throwing it back, you're actually putting that force backwards to move the booty. So that's what pretty much happens with that. But anyway, I'm like, man, I got already twerking. So anyway, thank you for those of you who jumped in and watched my video for a while. I really appreciate you. So I will be posting those other videos of myself in the heels class so you guys can see me. So I'll be doing that. But I got to head out because I got to go get my hair done, guys. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you. Bye-bye.